All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. More to come on that later in the show. I'm not going to say who picked Keegan Bradley to win finally, got on the board, but I'm just saying it was in the Seat of Line segment. You can go back and listen for yourself. And also Mall Chevrolet, our proud sponsors. We'll talk about them a little bit more when we talk about our golf outing. But speaking of our golf outing, our friend Wes Patterson is back. Wes, what's up, man? Welcome back to Swing It and Ding It.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's definitely an honor to be back.
And Wes will be back for our outing, sending drives, teaching people a little something in the morning, and then out on number 14, sending drives for the foursome. So a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Wes, a lot we want to talk to you about. Are you more known now for your long drives or for your airport hijinks and shenanigans?
I would like to say, in quotes, traveling influencer.
Okay.
Gosh, man, it's been an absolute nightmare. So I should start doing like a blog about it. It's been brutal, but it's been brutal on a lot of people. So I can't complain too much.
We can't get that Dormie Workshop PJ to take you around
the boys don't have one yet, but we're working on getting them one.
They're gonna get there. We'll talk a little bit more about the Dormie Workshop as well, a sponsor of Wes's, and they've stepped up and helped us with our outing. But Wes, let's talk about the latest. Right, you just competed in an event, did really, really well. Talk about that event, and I know you were coming off an injury, and how are things progressing for you?
It's been good. I mean, it's been a tough year and a half. I had a knee operated last year and getting a little bit older, so I don't bounce back as quick as I expected. So, it's been good. I'm starting to get healthy. Speeds are getting back up there, and it's in a little tough spot, but now I'm starting to have fun with it again and seeing a few results and feeling good.
Well, a lot's been made of the PGA Tour schedule and their elevated events. Tell us about your schedule. Like, what does a typical year or, calendar year look like for you, and how do you plan that out?
Yeah, I mean, this year's been a little bit different. They had a new company that bought World Long Drive, GNF Entertainment out of Long Island bought it. So our schedule is actually a little bit longer. Last year or previous before COVID, it was normally from the end of March to September. And then this year it's from the end of March to the end of October. So our season's a little bit longer. We're kind of in the middle of that season right now, having an event every 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And so these are the dog days of the schedule. But it's definitely different in PGA Tour because they get to pick and choose what events they're doing. If we're doing every event we can try to make it to, which is good. You can plan out where you're going and all that good stuff and travel. And as we know, I'm a travel expert, as we can tell by the past few weeks, but it's good, but it's definitely different. You got to peak at the right times, and luckily starting to climb that mountain and hopefully peak in October.
Well, it sounds like you have the schedule of a PGA Tour rookie because they really can't pick and choose their schedule. But Wes, talk about just the growth overall of Long Drive. I mean, you and your buddies, you guys really kind of have laid, kind of the framework, if you will, for the Long Drive. Talk about the progression of the Long Drive and where it's at right now.
I mean, it's like night and day since I got into the sport. I got into the sport in 2017, and ever since it's really, really grown. I do say a lot of it is social media driven. It's good that we can get out there and people can see. And then COVID helped golf. We all know that. So COVID helped a lot of people get into the sport. And that being said, when everybody goes to play, what's their favorite thing to do is send drivers. So they rip into it. So the growth of the game's definitely helped us. I think more people respect us a little bit because they kind of gone down a little rabbit hole trying to hit the ball further, and they kind of realize, hey, these guys are swinging 150 miles per hour plus. It's a little bit different than these guys swinging 120. So, but mainly, social media has really helped us out. A lot of guys are out there doing events like myself, and just really kind of pushed it. But I think it's more that people are respecting golf and respecting what we do a little bit more.
Yeah, it's funny, and you feel free to take this idea, Wes, but I always thought, we don't know what's going to happen with LIV and a PGA Tour, but instead of having in LIV, right, golf but louder and all that, why not have a pro long drive on the Thursday before the outing instead of a pro-am, right? Imagine that scene. It would be incredible.
I'm just going to go on, I don't want to tear you down here, buddy, but you don't think we haven't brought that up a couple of times?
It's probably shut down because of injury.
Luckily, I know a few of the people at LIV. We've had that conversation. That conversation didn't go any further than the initial conversation.
I'm shocked, man. That's a miss. That would be so. You want to do things different. That's it right there, man. Have that excitement in there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Liv, what was your reaction when the news came down a couple of weeks ago now that there was apparently some sort of merger, and I put that in air quotes. I don't know if that's the right word, between them and the PGA Tour.
Can I plead the fifth here? Am I allowed to?
Sure.
No. Sadly, I mean, I saw it coming. I think most people saw it writing on the wall. I don't want to go too far into, speculation, but if I had to guess, the PGA Tour might have been a little nervous for those books to open.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. They've been awesome for the game forever. But being a 501(c) or charity-based tour it's tough to keep up with every dollar. So I'm sure they're a little nervous when those books were open.
Yeah.
We'll take a further look at that 5-page framework agreement that we just got a little peek into yesterday, a little later on in the show.
Yeah,
absolutely. Wes, talk about, you're facing the injury, you had to have a surgery. Did you have any learnings from that, right? Did you have to change anything? Did you pick up anything new or anything that actually helped you or will help you in the long run?
I think honestly, it's not necessarily the injury. When I came out of the injury, I started getting into some bad habits and started seeing some bad results. And then I kind of seeked a little bit more help than I normally would have in the past. I think I've got a little bit more older and mature. So I've seeked a little bit more information out there, and it's helped me, make a few changes. And, coming off an injury, being out for a few months, you kind of start with a clean slate and you start trying to figure out what works again. And, it's been good. I've started to figure it out, but like we all know, this when you get a golf club in your hand, you never have it figured out.
Yeah. Got to follow Wes on Instagram at Wes Patterson Golf. Make sure you're following him. But tell us about how many events do you do typically in a summer, like the Swing It and Ding It Fox Sports, the Gambler outings? How many of those kind of things do you do?
I don't do as much as I used to. I would probably say back in the day, a couple of years back before COVID, I was probably doing 40, 50 events a year.
Wow.
And they're fun. Don't get me wrong, but they are tough on the body. So this year, I think I'm around 25. So 2025, which is awesome. And I got luckily involved in a lot of great causes, and it makes it really, really awesome to be a part of, especially the boys that Swing It and Ding It. Excited to get up there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. New course this year too. So
yeah,
excited.
Now, which holes you going to be on?
How big's the fairway?
Well, for the actual outing where you're going to be helping people send their drives, it's kind of like Harry. It's 14, basically where we stopped.
Oh, where we stopped. Okay, yeah.
At that, so it's the reason why I picked it. Now, Wes, I received your rider. I know you need a DJ. I know you need promo models. I know you need cocktails, right? I have all that stuff lined up. I've received it. I've talked to your management. We have it all covered. Don't worry about it.
I got a couple things there.
The green M&Ms and all those other things. I have those. Yeah. But where Wes is going to be set up, Harry, you can picture that, right?
Yeah.
You can see it from the patio. You can see it from 5 or 6 other holes. We're going to have DJ Reed Streets out there again with Wes. And that'll also be where Tito's and Xfinity Live are taking over the putting green with the buckle bunnies and everything else that's going on. So
it's going to be mayhem.
It's going to be a scene right there.
Absolute rock show. We're going to get a TrackMan out there today, this year too, to make sure people can challenge me, because that's what everybody does.
Beautiful.
What if I outdrive you? Well, buddy, we're going to switch jobs. I'm going to play golf the rest of the day, and you're going to do this.
Well, what kind of equipment are you typically working with? How many different lofts and different shafts will you be bringing to this event?
I mean, I'll bring a few. Luckily, this year I've changed. I've been with Callaway in the past, and this year I changed to Cobra Puma, which has been an awesome change for me. They're great, and that's a little plug for them. But
did you have to rename your dog though, or
that's what else? I knew that was coming. I think it's statute of limitations. Callaway's name is staying in Callaway, it's good enough. But I'll bring a few. We'll have it's another thing. Method of Madness and long drive. A lot of guys are starting to go a lot weaker shafts.
I saw that. I wanted to ask you about it. I've noticed, you didn't see that in the past couple of years. Now you're seeing that kind of whip.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the equipment itself has gotten so good over the past couple of years. The method behind it is the lower the CPM, which is weaker the shaft is, the faster theoretically you can swing the golf club. Now, is it going to be easier to deliver it the right way and center punch it and hit it straight? No, but we get 5 mulligans, so we have to hit 1 out of 6. But I've been kind of going down that rabbit hole a little bit, trying to figure out, get a little bit weaker shaft and swing it faster. But I've come back to my old self to need a little bit more stiffer shaft and been hitting it better. So, but we'll bring a few out there. We'll have a few extra long drivers for people to try out and have some fun with it.
Well,
Yeah, so we're gonna do the demo in the morning, Harry. Probably
Okay.
on the range. I don't know. We got to see if Wes can send it over the net or not. We might be able to
Yeah.
angle him though, and I think people loved that last year or 2 years ago when they got just to get it, just see how he does it, ask him some questions. So looking forward to that. Our friends
Right.
from Comcast Business are involved in that venture, so really looking forward to that.
I did an event. Hate to cut you off. On Monday, I was in Delaware, Wilmington, and somebody came up to me and not making this up. The first thing they looked at me like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "I'm hitting drives for you." They're like, "Well, we should have brought Brandon Matthews."
Yeah.
I was like, and I looked up, I was like, "Who's Brandon Matthews?" Like, "You don't know Brandon Matthews?" I was like, "No, I don't. Never heard of him." They're like, "Well, he hits it further than you." So I was like,
Wes,
"Okay, I'll look him up."
Wes, great segment into when Brandon hit your driver. You got to share that story for everyone.
Oh, luckily that
Or was
wasn't
it
mine. That
Jacobs? It was Jacobs. Yeah,
Dang it.
we'll share that story though.
Yeah, we were at an event that the press golf that we ran a few years back, and the boys always want to try the equipment. So Brandon grabbed one of Jacob Galladay, Jesus of golf, long driver, proceeded to swing as hard as can and snapped it dead in half.
Oh
No
On
way.
the backswing, didn't even get
Didn't even
through
get
the
to
through
it.
swing. Took it back.
I think we
It
have a
literally-
video somewhere.
There's definitely a video we could probably pull up. It was
Wow.
hilarious.
Brandon first time with a long driver in his hand hit it 0 yards. 0
Well,
yards.
we got to
First
get we got to get one of those in Moose's hands. I personally saw him clobbering drives last week at this very golf course where you're going to be. So we got to see that.
Been working out. Moose?
onto other fairways.
Hey, it was on fairways and it
along.
was playable. That's all that matters. And it was a long way down there.
That's all I got. One trick pony, guys. One trick pony. But you see, Wes has that incredible logo on his hat. It's one of the best logos, I think, in golf right now. And that is the Dormie Workshop. Make sure you're following at Dormie Workshop. Head to their website. So, Wes, you work with these guys, right? They started in 2014, two brothers, Jeff and Todd Bishop. And now they're voted the best leather head cover by Golf Digest since 2017. Made all in-house, designed, shipped all over the world. And we talk about judges by the company we keep, right? These things are in Seminole. They're in St. Andrews. Oh, and if you notice Brooks Koepka, when he won the PGA Championship, you would have seen that logo on one of his head covers. So great company. Talk about the work you do with them, Wes.
Oh, I got to start off with fear the cow, man. That's why I like the little hashtag fear the cow. But the boys, yeah, the Bishops, they've been awesome to me. I met them last year. I've always noticed their stuff, but met them last year, really built a friendship. And I mean, it's incredible the time and effort from where they built this thing. They were actually originally, PGA professionals in Canada, played golf. They tried to play professionally. They were caddies down here in South Florida. They've done the grind and they figured it out. But they don't use any shortcuts, man. They hit a home run with it. They use the best quality out there. They make sure every piece they do is unique and used to the best of their ability to do it. And it's like you said, they're in Seminole, they're in St. Andrews. It kind of speaks for himself. And the cool thing is they can do just about anything. You can customize from just a head cover to I got a stash bag, which I like to call it's my purse. But you got stash bags, they make everything, man. And like I said, they do the best quality. They really enjoy what they do and they put their heart and soul in it. And it's a family company and they deserve every bit of it. And I'm excited too. I know last time we were on here, I wasn't sure if we started this yet, but I started co-founded a golf festival, golf art festival party tour, and Dormie Workshop. The Bishops are coming in on that as collaboration the next 3 events. So
Wow,
they're really turning into family, and I've been really blessed to be working with them.
Tremendous. Yeah, great guys. I work with Julian over there, who's been fantastic. So their work is just tremendous. And they're helping us up for the outing. So the long drive champion for our outing will get a custom 2023 swing it and ding it
With the
outing
belt.
champion with the belt on it. I mean,
Oh,
talk about
wow.
that. And Wes, so we're going to have 3 long drive holes with prizes on each. And then after those 3, or say it was 2, because they're going to have a playoff for the final to win, to get suited up in a custom Robini suit and that Dormie Workshop head cover. It's going to be tremendous. It really
that is awesome.
What
I'm
if
so
a
happy
girl
doing that.
wins?
Yeah.
What if
Well,
a girl
there's
wins?
going to be a separate girl long drive, but it's just one hole because there's only like 4 or 5 girls. So I'm
Good
sorry,
question,
Danielle.
Danielle.
Do
Yeah.
I give Harry my custom suit? Or-
I'll take it. I need it for the next time I'm on here. So a little
That's
bit
right.
more presentable.
That's
There we
right.
go.
That's right. Well, Wes, we don't want to keep you forever. We know you're busy. We know you got to work on that swing. We appreciate you coming on. Really looking forward to see you in a couple weeks. We'll obviously have you pop on when you get there. If you get there in time, if you're not stuck in an airport or waiting for your bags or staring at people standing closer to the luggage thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now you're getting me fired up, man. You're getting me fired up.
PTSD.
Follow along on Instagram. It's a great follow.
Oh goodness. The closest you stand to the baggage claim, the faster bag comes out. Scientifically proven.
Oh, yeah.
Scientific.
And the quicker you get up on the plane, when the plane lands, the quicker you're going to get out.
No.
Yeah.
Wes sits up in the way front. He doesn't have to worry about that.
That's true.
And you fly enough, they put you in the front of the plane. They don't want you in the back.
That's right. All right, Wes Patterson, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And good luck with your training and getting ready to send drives all over the country here.
Awesome. Love it. Can't wait to get up there.
Thanks,
all right,
Wes.
guys. Thanks, Wes. All right, let's take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, and welcome back. Great to catch up with our friend Wes Patterson. One of the best follows on Instagram. Yes, seeing him send drives and stuff is incredible, but just looking at his travel escapades, he documents it pretty well. It's really funny. And our friends at the Dormie Workshop who work with Wes, who that's how we got connected with them. So it's the people you meet in this in what we do has been tremendous. It's like you just keep stacking up these great contacts and great people, and in the end, everyone just kind of works together, right, for a common cause. So it's really good. But
think about the travel schedule for him. I mean, what did he say? He did 50 events like ours last year, plus the long drive schedule. I mean, he is traveling around a lot.
And it's not crazy. It's not like anyone's booking his travel. Like he's doing all his own booking and everything, right? So it is crazy.
And travel has been a nightmare. If you don't follow Wes, follow him and take a look. But literally the past 4 times I've flown, there has not been one flight that has gotten out on time. That's why I'm coming into town for our event 3 days in advance. So we're clear. We're good to go.
Nice. Very nice. So Keegan Bradley takes home the Travelers. You forget about how long and how well he's played in the past, right? Here's a guy, he's 37 years old, right? He's been on some Ryder Cups, but he's had some ebbs and flows just like a lot of people do. But, sometimes you forget, I think he's a lot younger than he is, but, he gets the 3-shot win. He shoots 62, 63, 64, 23 under, 257, a shot better than Kenny Perry in 09 for the record at this event. He faltered a little bit, right? He's glad he had that lead. He birdies 12 to go 5 under. And then I think he puts it in the water on 13 for a bogey. He bogeys 14 and 16.
Yep.
Right. So he's leaking oil coming in here.
After making par on 15, which is a birdie
one of you
hole.
guys texted us that. He's leaking oil.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It was
the
Moose.
wheels are falling off. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. But
I was just please don't let Patrick Cantlay win.
Well, it's funny because we were like, hey, he's a 6-shot lead. It's over. Like, it was almost like, hey, let's make this more interesting, right? So people tune in and watch.
Right.
Because it was getting
it was a drama-free Sunday until he started making a couple of bogeys. And he stepped to that 17th tee, which is kind of a daunting tee shot with water all down the right, and he striped it. And you could just see sort of the weight come off his shoulders because he knew right then all I got to do is stick it on the green on 17, somewhere on the green, and this is over.
Talk about swinging your swing, Danielle, right? We talk about coaches and teachers who sometimes try to fit people in a box. You couldn't teach Keegan Bradley swing or setup or anything. It is so unique. I like watching it.
Totally.
Definitely.
He's very fidgety, and he's gotten better, actually. He used to be more fidgety than he is now, but he does that little thing where he twirls the club when he sets it up at the dress, and even the driver, and he's kind of hunched over because he's kind of tall. And it is. And how about his kids getting trophies of their own?
Oh, that was so cute.
Great work out of the Travelers.
So cute. I was like, oh my goodness. What
I need to know the story on that. Yeah, do they have them souvenirs? Maybe
I don't know.
They probably have them in the shop.
The winner might have a kid or 3. Let's just have 10 of them just in case.
Well, it was weird because on Saturday, I was watching it, and when he finished his round on Saturday, he sort of did a thing where the kids came out and the wife came out, almost like it was dude, this isn't over yet. I know you got a big lead, but it's not Sunday. He just sort of did it on Saturday too.
You're right.
I don't know if
you're right. Yeah, I did. I didn't think of it that way, but now that you say it, I'm like,
I missed that.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
Speaking about Saturday, talk about somebody making a charge. Cantlay. He shoots a 61 on Saturday, and talk about it. He was at the top of the game, a year back, right? And now he's been a little bit off, but he's coming around, coming into form. Obviously with Joe LaCava on the bag, and impressive to see him shoot 61. I thought he was going to really make a run and make a charge here.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, he plays really well at that tournament year in and year out. But how about the big names that missed the cut?
Mm-hmm.
Colin Morikawa, Max Homa, John Rahm, Fleetwood, who I thought would play really well coming off of what he did at the U.S. Open, Siwoo Kim, Billy Horschel, Matt Kuchar, all missed cuts. And, when I think a lot of this, I was talking to a couple buddies about it, this elevated event schedule is forcing these guys to play in a couple more events than they normally would skip. And I think a lot of these guys are gassed. I really do. They just look gassed. And it's like, like Rahm, he's always going to want to compete, even if he doesn't really want to be there. But if he comes out on Thursday and doesn't have his A or B game, I think these guys are just fine with packing it in on Friday and going home, getting a couple days rest. They don't get fined. They don't lose pit money. Hey, I showed up. I'm just here so I don't get fined, kind of a situation. And if they somehow find their game, great, they're gonna be in it. But if they don't, you need the rest.
You really do. We saw Denny McCarthy. I don't know if you guys saw on his Instagram story, just laying in his pool on a little golf cart blow up floaty, and his fiance tweeted like much needed rest day. But I think what a lot of people don't realize, we were just talking about Keegan coming down, spraying it all over, being like wheels falling off, leaking oil, if you will. People don't realize that adrenaline, the emotion, not only is it physically and mentally, just that adrenaline going through, what that takes out of your body. They are gassed. This many events that they have to play in. It's wild.
Harry, your boy Rory wasn't too complimentary on the golf course. What do you think about that?
He wasn't?
No.
I mean, he played well. He played well enough where he could have gotten himself back in the mix to win. I mean, but he drove at 380 plus yards.
Yeah, said it was a little too easy. Courses like this might have been passed by, right?
Really?
But then if it's set up too hard, then it's a problem. If it's set up too hard, I don't know. But Harry, listen, you're going to sleep well tonight. You know why?
Why is that?
Rory and Sergio have patched things up. They're friends again.
They are?
Yeah.
All is right in the world.
When did this happen?
It's breaking news.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, they patched things up. I know that you'll actually sleep really well tonight having that news. Sergio just said he's just happy to have his friend back.
Oh, wow. Well, Ryder Cup season is upon us, so I think that might have something to do with it. Let's make amends with one of the most popular players on the tour, and happens to be the ambassador really of the European team, because Sergio is going to need to be a captain's pick.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see how this all plays out.
I know.
I really can't. And it's like, Danielle, we talked a little bit about the LIV and the PGA, and I think you have some info on that, hopefully, because I can't understand it. It just seems to be like a whole lot of nothing, right? It seems to be all these meetings, but no real details come out about this.
Yeah, it really, I tried to kind of condense it and put it into layman's terms, if you will. So we got a first look at the 5-page framework agreement signed by the PGA Tour and the PIF, which essentially is set to change the structure of men's professional golf as we know it. Which, me saying that sounds way more groundbreaking, and like we have all these updates and we finally have a better understanding of what's going on. But really, to me anyway, the way I interpret it, it wasn't anything. It's everything we had previously heard that was in the deal is in fact in the deal. Missing details are still missing. So basically we have an update of what the written framework looks like. And we also know that there's a lot to yet still be decided. So my key takeaways were there are no valuations or specifics on what's been agreed to. The new general board structure, an expectation of Saudi funding for, they call it NewCo, hoping.
Yeah, NewCo.
It's not going to be.
Hopefully that's just a placeholder right now.
Yes, the new company. I'm assuming that's what it is. They're all in there. But this is stuff, again, that we've already heard. So essentially it's two sides expressing, for what I interpret, is their desire to not want to spend legal money or risk further collateral damage in doing so, essentially deciding, let's just put this into place and we'll figure it out later. So it's kind of giving pre-settlement or like ceasefire vibes to me. So going a little bit more on, and I know this is all jargon and kind of boring, but essentially let's stop fighting. And here's a general outline. So specifics are filled in. It's just, once the DOJ puts this through like the antitrust ringer, it could look way different than what we're seeing in this 5-page agreement. But for now, again, hasty agreement to stop fighting with the general outline of the future to cooperate and somehow have structure. There's a line about making a good faith effort to secure world golf ranking recognition for live players, which would not be very useful if live ceases to exist, but we'll see. And then there's no talk about how live players are going to be reintegrated. That's not addressed at all. And it's also not addressed how players of prominence who passed up the live cash, that's also not addressed. Yeah, the loyal guys, that's also not addressed. So again, the most that I could get out of it was like, hey, we don't, like Wes was saying, we don't want anybody looking in our books. This is costing us so much money in legal fees. There's lawsuits all over the place. Let's just say, let's agree to not disagree for the time being. And that's basically all I got out of it. So I don't know if you guys got something different, but.
Was there a clause? Well, go ahead, Moose.
Well, like a couple times they purposely, because the biggest complaints were we didn't know about any of this, right? We're supposed to be a player around league, we didn't know about. So there was a couple lines in there about it'll go before the players advisory board, right? It'll go before the players for review. Like they put that in there purposely because I know that's what pissed most players off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the antitrust, or according to some, a black letter antitrust violation was Jay Monahan saying taking a competitor off the board comment. So that could have been like an off-the-cuff error, which is bringing more scrutiny, more questions, and making his case harder to argue that this agreement is simply one party taking on investment from another for the benefit of all and to improve the game for players and for those who want to see it. They get to see all the big players all in one place. But when saying we're taking competitor off the board,
that's an antitrust issue. Yeah.
Now, and there's still, the DOJ is definitely going to look into this, I'm assuming, and what most of golf Twitter is saying.
Was there also some clause in there that said something on the order that you can no longer disparage the Saudis and their human rights atrocities?
That was huge.
Right?
So there was a disparity clause in there, which is in every contract, right? If you're working for a company, you can't bash them. But there is a gray area because it basically is the Saudi government in the end, right? It's not like you can't bash the fund or live. It's
the kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So with all these, with the human rights
9/11
violations, like it's going to be slippery slope for a lot of people.
So what is Brandel going to talk about, and what is Eamon going to write about?
Well, that's what Eamon was talking about and writing about this morning.
Eamon. Exactly. Yesterday, the day before. No. And SB, like their headline, I think, was like Eamon Lynch runs over Patrick Cantlay with a bus or something was the headline to it. Because Eamon has just been going in. But if, it's obviously we want objective journalism, but if you want at least one view of it and one standpoint, take a look at Eamon Lynch and see at the coverage he's doing, because it's definitely one perspective that you can get from this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
More to come.
More to come. Yeah. I heard some inside stuff that I'm just.
I truly think that the team aspect is something that is the main focus of all this. And I think that's going to stay, even if it's like maybe there's a team event during, and I don't know. Like I don't see that going away. There's too much with it invested with these goofy names that some of them have and sponsorships and all that. I don't see that going away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And also there's definitely, this is just my perspective, like a chip on this shoulder of, what is it, Your Majesty? What do we call him?
His Excellence, His Eminence.
His Excellence. Yeah. His entire team, like all of that, when the LIV and PGA Tour merger, if you will, first leaked, there was inside documentation from all the LIV employees that was leaked as well, where they took it as a win. They're like, wow, this only took us less than 2 years. We didn't think this was going to happen. But in the beginning, they were like, wow, maybe we don't move forward. We're not getting as many players. And they just said, you know what? Spend all the money, get all the best players. Let's just do this and threaten them. And so internal conversations were essentially is like, we won. And it took us less than 2 years. So that's all over golf Twitter. But it's crazy looking at the different viewpoints and how this is all playing out. But essentially we get this leak and it's like, woo, golf news. And I had to spend 45 minutes reading through this doc. And I'm like, we really don't know anything more.
Right. Yeah. What did we really learn here?
Yeah. Okay. So it's an agreement not to fight and not talk about them and not spend any more money.
Yeah,
All right.
crazy. Harry,
Moving on.
speaking of his excellency, you were on the Mike Miss podcast this
Yes.
week, guys. How about that?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Jason Martitis and myself were guests of Mikey Miss, and thanks to him for having us on. But I tell you, I had to squeeze in at the very end of the episode. I shoehorned it in, as you put it, and it's exactly what it was. That we're doing this Swing It and Ding It podcast. Been doing it for over 3 years. I thought I was going to get teed up for it, literally, but that didn't happen.
Old friends.
Well, you got to give them the podcast 101.
Yeah.
We're always saying, hey, follow Harry May's app.
Yeah. Well, and his producer Darren Degatano, to his credit, the day before said, "Hey, everything else you guys want to promote?" So I told him about it. So I know he had it there.
Yeah, but when the girls get talking,
our friend Alex Lon from the Legacy Club, who you met last week, Harry, was listening, and he caught that too. He's like, "Man, I'm glad Harry stuffed that in there."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh yeah,
I love it."
Did. Now, Danielle, I think it was punishment, right? Because we don't want Harry to have too much practice on the Legacy Club before you.
Okay.
So we try to get out for a round. There's 0 rain in the forecast. Our friend John Clark is joining us, and my buddy Mike Fiscus. We have a great foursome. It rained the whole time.
Harry always says, "Hey, if there's some place that you want
0% in the forecast,
do not invite me." Oh,
and it was freezing.
Not
only was it raining, which I can handle the rain.
We gotta come up with a nickname for you, like
the cloud.
Literally the black storm. So you guys didn't get any.
We got 13 holes.
13 holes.
We got 13 holes in. Yeah.
Well, 0% chance of rain in the forecast. And
like Moose said, we finished.
Shows up and it torrential downpours.
It was awful. I mean, I felt bad because I'm like, I actually did bring this today, but we did get through 13. And like Moose said, when we had Wes on, where we finished, par 3 13th is kind of a really cool hole. With the green raised way above the tee, and then you come up the hill, and there you are back at the clubhouse, and that's where Wes is going to be. And Moose is telling me now, DJ Me Streets is going to be over here, and it's going to be mayhem at that spot on the property.
Oh, geez, and absolutely 0 alcohol, I'm sure.
Right.
My line for this outing is this is going to be the most fun outing you've played in. It's not going to be the fastest. So buckle in, Harry. I actually just had a foursome drop out, and I'm so happy because we have a wait list of
55 people too.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps asking me, and I'm like, guys, I put it all out there. Like, you guys.
Everyone thinks like, I'll just wait.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the upcoming event, and I told Gabby, I said, look, we need to get on it. So we're going to start hitting up Turtle 7 a.m. because I was like, man, by the time I get done work, I can't get there. I can't hit balls. Like, what's going on? Brennan's like, they open at 7. I'm like, so we're now going to be going there 7 a.m. So maybe we'll put some videos up on the Swinging and Ding It Instagram of us up early in the morning practicing. But Gabby had a groundbreaking question. She's like, what is the theme? What are we wearing? I was like, Gabby, this isn't a theme. This is raising money for a good cause and having fun.
Well, your grouping along with Russ Hartung is in high demand. I was getting texts this morning of guys trying to get in there.
I texted Russ and I was like, they were trying to take you from me for the outing. he's like, meaning like play with another group. And then he's like, I know Jim, member at DCC. He's like good buddies with Harry. But I was like, they were trying to poach you, bud.
Yep.
I was like, I had you since day one. Moose came in with a save. He's like, I got you, Harry.
Yep. So Harry, that 13th hole is going to be the Mall Chevrolet hole in one. That is going to be so. To add to everything else we have going on, at the top is going to be a 2023 Silverado just sitting there staring at you.
Oh, awesome. That's a great hole too. I put it and just missed the green in the right green side bunker, but it's a heck of a hole. And you talk about a heck of a dealership. For 8 years in a row now, Mall Chevrolet has been South Jersey's #1 Chevy dealer. Now, it could be because they treat their customers just right. That's why Mall Chevy was voted a top 100 dealer in the entire country for customer satisfaction. But I still think it's because of their motto. We sell Chevys for less. It's that simple. Find your perfect drive at Mall Chevrolet. Visit Mall Chevrolet on Haddonfield Road, right in Cherry Hill, across from the Cherry Hill Mall, or online at mallchevy.com. Find your perfect drive at Mall Chevrolet and mallchevy.com.
Now, how far is this par 3 that you have the chance to win?
That was like going 70, maybe.
Well, it's got to play 195 men, 180 women.
Okay, for the insurance.
Yeah,
All right,
for
so
the
we got to
insurance.
dial in that 180.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have that, right? I can't even touch on them all. You're gonna have the Pizza Hut 2-man chip and putt at the end, which is going to be, I think the way that I'm going to do it now is, so the top 10 finishers plus ties will be able to sign up in teams of 2 to complete in the Pizza Hut 2-man chip and
One
putt.
guy chips, one guy putts.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Wow.
think, instead of like having the winner or if there's ties get something like that's going to do, and
That's cool.
the 2 people that prevail are each going to get a trip for 2 to Casa de Campo.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, great segment into our winners that are there right now.
Ben's there right now. Won our contest. He's loving it. He's sending me more pictures. I mean, the place is great. I've
I
had a
saw
bunch
those
of
pictures
friends
up there.
there.
I'm like, I need to go here.
Danielle, we got to go. We all have to go.
We got to do a trip.
It is tremendous. Looking forward to it. Another place I want to get back to is Pebble Beach. That's my number one. I went there on my honeymoon. I didn't play, but
You didn't play though,
I had brunch there, and it was right when we were kind of forming the podcast, and I was getting more into golf, and I'm like, this is it. This is like my number one course. I have to play this one day. Now, iHeart does a client event there every year. I need some of my sellers. You have to have at least 3 from your market who have the spend level to go. So my sellers, they know that this needs to happen.
We'll get the whip out
there.
Start cracking that whip.
Yeah. But what do you think of it? We had the Women's U.S. Open out there on Pebble Beach.
Yes.
So, I mean, the women's game is on fire right now.
Yeah.
And especially
superstars.
Rosebuds. Is that what we're calling them?
Rosebuds, Rosang.
Yeah, I heard that the Rosebuds was, they asked her where it came from. She's like, I didn't make this up. Some drunk guy was screaming on the side. She's like, oh, Rosebuds. So now her cult following is Rosebuds. But talk about this. She wins her first pro tournament, finishes top 10 in her first major. So, I mean, if there's anyone to keep your eyes on at the U.S. Open, is it not Rose Hare? I know you're
I had her top
golf.
10 last week at plus 200. To be honest, but her Roning Yin was another 20-year-old superstar who ended up winning last week. That's her second win on the LPGA Tour. Young girl from China.
Wow.
Really fun to watch. I mean, I was watching it because they were at Baltusrol, and it was a major, and I like watching the women play golf. But what an event! I actually watched a little bit more of that than I did the event in Connecticut, to be honest with you, because there wasn't a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
I do want to talk about just one thing real quick, taking it back. I saw this tweet, and maybe it's slightly skewed now, but my boy Chef, Scotty Scheffler, is now 203 shots under par this year. That's 48 shots better than any other player on tour.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's absolutely wild. The chef's been cooking.
World number one. That'll do it. All right, let's take another quick break. We'll be right back to take a look at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. All right, and welcome back as we take a look at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Not an elevated event, but still a big event. You have 8 of the top 30. You have number 9, Max Homa, number 14, Tony Finau, who's defending as a favorite at plus 1,400, and another favorite with him, which is interesting, at plus 1,400 in Ricky Fowler. In Detroit, the Detroit Golf Club North Course, this replaced the Quicken Loans event, of course. Donald Ross course with roots back to 1916. The guys can take advantage of this course. It's definitely a driver's course. You had Bryson win, Finau. When Bryson and Finau won, they gained over 5 strokes off the tee during their winning week. So
and there's 4 par 5s too. So,
22 under last year won it. But there's also about putting on this course. So interesting to see. What do you guys think about this one? Harry, I'll start with you, and then Danielle, I'll go to you because I know you have some info on the course itself and some of the issues.
I know Danielle will get to that, but this course has a lot of history. I mean, you talk about Donald Ross, you think about, the Ford Motor Company and all the people that belonged at this place over the years. And guess who was a member? Kid Rock is a member of the Detroit Golf Club. And Aretha Franklin apparently lived, her house was off of like the 7th green or something, and apparently penned some of her greatest music inside that house that's right off the golf course. So it's a pretty cool, and it's flat too. This is it's almost like a Florida golf course, an old school Florida golf course transported into the Midwest. So not a lot of crooked lies. I'd probably like to play this golf course, but a lot of big names, you mentioned them, and it's not an elevated event. So I got to watch out because some of these guys, like I talked about, might be looking for the weekend off. It's a really thing to bet this time of year. We still have a major left. You've got the Scottish Open, which guys like to get over there a week in advance to get used to the time change and everything. So they're going to be playing in that too. And then you got the playoffs right around the corner. So I really got to be wary. But one guy that definitely needs a big week, and he came off a big showing last week, is JT. His game, they were talking about on the broadcast, he might have found something. Look out. And he would need a win here, along with Ricky Fowler, who I know everybody's going to take. Like, Ricky Fowler is going to be probably the most rostered guy in this entire field. So watch out with that. But JT, he was T9 last week, including a 62 on Saturday. He has no course history here, but 2 of the 4 previous winners had none either. And JT has 3 wins in his career on courses that he saw for the first time.
Wow.
So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Yes. And I'm taking him in my one and done. So it probably means he will miss the cut, but plus 1,800 to win. I'm going to take JT, and we can keep going with some other guys. I like Sepp Straka as kind of an outlier guy at plus 4,500 to win. You mentioned Finau. He's going to defend. I think he wants to be here. Plus 165 for a top 10. Aberg, I'm 2 for 2 with my man Aberg. Plus 225 in a top 20. And Gordon Sargent, the long hitter from Vanderbilt. Interesting stat here. He has 16 points already, and you need 20 to earn your tour card through the accelerated college program that they have. I did this research. You need 20 by the end of your 3rd year of eligibility in college. He qualifies for that. He's got an exemption this week and an exemption next week at the John Deere. He could lock this down. So I'm going to take him in top 30 at plus 190. Gordon Sargent from Vanderbilt.
Wow. I like it.
Lock it in.
We'll continue to see the line after this. But Danielle, what are you hearing? We have Brandon's in the field, obviously. So is he up there yet? And what's going on up there with some of the weather they've had?
Yeah, he's up there. He actually, all the courses are closed down here in Florida right now, just punch greens, and they're closed for summer to get them back in condition. So no place to play. So he flew up to Chicago to get some practice in, was trying to fly into Detroit Sunday night. And similar to our friend Wes Patterson, who joined us earlier, he was delayed. There was all types of storms. They couldn't get out. He finally landed in Detroit 11 p.m. on Sunday, and gets a text first thing Monday morning. The only holes available to play at the course are 11 through 18. Tornado had came through the area, didn't hit the course, but such bad weather. There were trees down everywhere. So finally the course was opened back up yesterday, but they had to do some quick cleanups there, get all the trees picked up, all the debris, everything else. So Brandon also mentioned there was a little bit of smoke from the wildfires coming down as well. So a little bit of funky weather going on, but it seemed to have all been clearing up. And he said it was somewhat of a decent day by the end of the day yesterday. So we'll see what that looks like. I was at this event last year. The course is great. Harry kind of gave a great preview of it, but we'll have to see as long as the weather stays away, both the smoke and tornadoes and the rest of that. Jeez. Like you said, it's the poor 4 par 5s. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah,
it is good. It is a big hitter's course.
Yeah. And I sent a tweet out this morning just recognizing our grounds crew, our superintendents, our maintenance workers at these courses, because we've been getting hit with storm after storm every night. And, you put that tee in the ground, Harry, on one. There's a lot that went into getting that course cleared for you to be able to play around. So, as many times as we could give those guys and gals kudos, we will do it on this podcast because they do the best.
I saw you sent a tweet out too on the Swing It and Ding It, and I retweeted it because you're absolutely right.
Yeah, set my Twitter game up.
But guys, I'm gonna
finish Brad's. I'm like,
yep. I'm gonna continue to see line. A couple had a winner last week, so I'm looking to stay hot.
Yeah, man.
From tee to green, the best place to go to get in on all the action happening on the links is DraftKings Sportsbook. This week, new customers will receive an odds boost to add plus 1,000 to any pre-tournament wager up to $10 on any golfer to win. DraftKings will be featuring parlays and odds boosts all tournament long, so be sure to check out DraftKings Sportsbook app every day before the tournament starts to see what they have in store. We talked about last week, got a little hot with Keegan Bradley. He was also on Brian Harman, who Harry was against. He's done with Brian Harman, but he played really well. We talked about Finau, who is the prohibitive favorite as the runner-up winner. But I'm taking a look at Hideki at plus 1,600. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DING and boost your odds during this weekend's tournament. That's code DING only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Kansas, call 800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Wow.
Woo!
Take a breath.
We need to get that recorded and just like, pop that in there.
Yeah. Good call. I think so. So another guy like last year, runner up, Taylor Pendrith, who's looking to get back on track at 7,500. I talked about Hideki at 1,600. Got to ride Austin Eckroat. I'm going to take him in a top 5 at plus 1,000. And then Chris Kirk, who plays really well on Donald Ross courses. He's had a T21 or better the past 3 years here. I'm going to take him in a top 10 at 1,100. I can't touch Ricky at that number at 1,400. No. So that's about it for my seed the line.
Yeah, I'm going to take Eckroat over Harmon in a matchup.
I like that.
I like it.
Minus 110.
I love it. All right, guys. That was a lot of fun. Great to have Wes Patterson on. Really excited to get him up here in a couple weeks, and we continue to monitor the Live PGA Tour PIF situation with not many more answers. So hopefully, it'll become more clear in the next couple weeks.